Hi everyone, and welcome to this recording. We want to celebrate World MS Day 2024. The theme for this year is My MS Diagnosis, and the campaign is advocating for early and accurate diagnosis for everyone living with MS. It wants to highlight the global barriers to diagnosing MS, to raising awareness by sharing real stories and data. The MS community are calling for better training for healthcare professionals in MS, for new research and clinical advancements in diagnosis, because together we are building informed, caring communities and systems that support people diagnosed with MS. So, thinking of this theme, it is with great pleasure that I'm here with Amy Thompson, who is CEO and founder of the MS Together charity, so she can tell her story. My name is Ruth Stross. I'm head of nursing with Neurology Academy, and I also work in the NHS. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
I just thought maybe to start with, it'd be really good to know a little bit around how you happen to be here today talking to me and had decided to set up a charity.
Yeah, of course. So I was diagnosed with MS just after my 21st birthday, which was now back in 2018. And I was actually on my year abroad from university. I was living and working in Paris, just having the best year of my life. And then basically from one day to the next, I started to experience symptoms, which involved numbness, fatigue, difficulty walking, and nerve pain as well. And yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind. It all happened quite quickly. I went to see the doctor after a few days of kind of ignoring it, and they kind of just said that they didn't think it was anything to worry about. They thought it was probably a trapped nerve. And I just kind of kept pushing because I could tell that there was something that was not really right that was going on. So eventually he agreed to send me for an MRI scan. And actually, before I went for that MRI scan, I said to him, because I'd been Googling, I said, "Do you think it could be MS?" And he said, "Oh no, I think you're far too young for that. You know, I'm pretty sure it's nothing to worry about." So I was like, okay, like it must be all right. So I went for this MRI scan, and basically because I was in France, it's a bit different from the UK, obviously. So they just handed me my brain scan images after the scan and just kind of said, go and see a neurologist. So I then decided to fly back to the UK and book an appointment to see someone. And then basically at that appointment, just got told that I had MS. So it was quite shocking. But then I think because I'd also done quite a bit of research beforehand, I kind of was expecting it. But then I think just because the doctor said, no, of course it couldn't be, it was still a bit of a shock. And then basically, as soon as I got diagnosed, all I wanted to do was to see other people like me. I felt like when I was looking at charity websites back then and, you know, just on social media, I didn't really see anyone else that was a similar age or kind of doing the things that I was doing, like represented. And I think that's all I really needed. I just wanted to kind of speak to someone else that kind of got it, that was trying to live their life as best as they could. And that's when I decided to start sharing my story. So I originally started with a blog, and I named it But You Don't McKill, because when I first got diagnosed and I started telling people about my MS, that was kind of their first reaction. You know, I had a lot of, "Oh, okay, but you look fine," and you know, I thought you'd be in a wheelchair and things like that. So that's kind of where the name came from. And then through that, I just kind of started sharing everything about my MS journey. And I had quite a lot of people reach out to me and say, you know, I'm in my 20s. I'm also feeling like this. And it's really nice to see someone else talking about MS like this. And then I just kind of realized that there were loads of people like me. And I decided to, you know, keep speaking to these people. And eventually I ended up putting them all in a group chat, which was very informal. And it was just a case of everyone just kind of talking about their experiences, and I guess making connections as well. And then that's basically where MS Together started. So that was kind of back in 2019 when I set up the like very informal support group. And then, yeah, just over the next few years, it just grew into what it is today.
So is that where you got the name from? Because you found that you gradually came together from the kind of people reaching out to you, or what was the origin of the name?
To be honest, I toyed with a lot of different names. We were called MS Friends for a while. This was back in 2019 when I set up the support group. I just called it MS Friends. I guess because I wanted to make friends, so I was like, oh, these are my MS friends. And then when I started to make it a bit more of like an official thing, I decided that it needed to have a bit more of an official name. So I just started toying with like, I guess, yeah, nice words that, and I thought the main thing that I wanted to do was bring people together. So MS Together is what I went
Yeah,
for.
wow. And it's, I mean, I've obviously, known you since September last year and have the amazing opportunity to be working with you. And there's so many different aspects of the charity, looking at sort of your experiences around diagnosis and the reason that you reached out in the first place to others and started the blog. What do you feel, what would you say now are the priorities and what you're really wanting to sort of target within the work that you're doing with MS Together?
Yeah, good question. I think the main kind of things that we're focusing on at the minute are around social support and then also mental health support, because I think those are like just the two key things that especially younger people living with MS need. So the services that we provide at the moment are, we have an online support platform, which is kind of what MSCO started as. But that's just grown into now hundreds and hundreds of people. So that's specifically for people aged 18 to 35 living with MS in the UK and Ireland. And that's basically just a safe space where they can meet people like them, they can ask questions, they can get advice, and yeah, just a safe space. We also organise a number of virtual social events every month. So again, for people that might not feel ready to meet up in person or might not be able to, we think it's really important to keep those going because they were really popular during the pandemic. So those are things like we do a monthly welcome call where any kind of new people that have found us or people that are newly diagnosed as well can join the call and just start making those connections. And then we also have things like a games night every month, and we have a book club as well. So they're all virtual social events. We also aim to do one informative webinar every month. So those are on topics that the community kind of picks. So things that are affecting young adults living with MS. We've done one on healthy lifestyle. We've done one on sex and relationships. We're doing one this month on diagnosis. And in each of those, we have guest speakers or organisations that are related to MS or might be able to help people with MS. And yeah, they're just quite informative and educational for people. And then we also have regional group support. So that's for people that want to connect a little bit more with people that live near them. So, they might organise just to go for a coffee with someone that lives near them. So that's just like a strand from the online support network that I was talking about before. And that's all across the UK. We have 11 different regions. And then we also organise in-person events at different locations across the UK. And that's something that is definitely, I think, getting more popular. I think during the pandemic, obviously, we couldn't do that. And I think slowly but surely people are now, really wanting that in-person interaction again. And those events are just really informative and fun. And yeah, just a really nice chance for people to meet each other. And then finally, like I mentioned, with the mental health support, so we are providing a one-to-one support service. So there's two different strands to it. The first bit is that people can reach out to a trained mental health first aider. So that's one of our volunteers who can just kind of give a bit of a listening ear and also some signposting. And then this week we are also launching our counselling service, which is brand new. It's a pilot counselling service because we don't know how it's going to go. We imagine it's going to be very, very popular. But we're going to be offering one-to-one and group counselling for people living with MS as well.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And I think that what you've kind of described is what's really come across to me is that amazingly personal journey that people have had within MS Together and how they've built friendships, which I think is quite difficult, potentially to kind of find a network of people that are understanding what you're going through, but also that you like and you get on with and you can
Yeah.
have fun. And that's what I really felt when I attended the launch last year. I know you're talking about the sort of the launch of the support and the counselling. This week is quite important for you, isn't it? With yourself in your personal journey.
It is, yeah. So up until this point, I've been managing MS Together in my spare time alongside working full time. So it's definitely been a difficult like 4 or 5 years. But obviously something that I'm so passionate about, so I've been happy to do it. But we've recently received some funding. So from next week, I will be working for MS Together and I'm very excited. So yeah, this week is my last week of full-time work outside of MS Together. So
Yeah, that's amazing. I just a huge congratulations because I can only imagine that the work that's gone on behind what you've had to do to get this far. What do you think as a healthcare professional working in the NHS? What would you say? What's the main point to get across as to what we can do and how we can support young people being diagnosed with MS and obviously signpost to MS Together?
a very tough question, Ruth. I
Sorry.
think I think it is just about letting them know what is available because I was kind of just handed a couple of leaflets when I got diagnosed and it was very confusing. I didn't know what was available to me. And, I'm not just saying that MS Together is the only place that young people can go to. There's so many great resources from all of the other MS charities. Um, and I think really it's a case of kind of dipping in and out of them all and picking what you need from each of the charities. I think what we can obviously provide is the kind of social and mental health support like we were talking about. But there's loads of brilliant resources. Like, if you're trying to choose a new treatment, I'd definitely recommend the MS Trust's DMT tool. It's things like that. So I think what would be really helpful is, just for healthcare professionals, kind of give you all the options and then let you kind of see what it is that you need. But I think that's also why MS Together is trying to, reach more healthcare professionals so that they know about us. Because I think we had someone find us the other week and they came to the welcome call on the Wednesday and they'd been diagnosed on the Friday. And I was so like happy about that because so many people have said since they've kind of found us, like, I just wish I'd found you like when I was first diagnosed. So I think that is one of our main things because I think to be able to see people that are like you, that are kind of going through the same things in life and feeling the same way you are and still continuing to work and all of those kinds of things that are important to young people, to see that at the very beginning and to know that like you are going to be okay is so important. So yeah, the more people that can find us the better. So I'd say just signposting, but also letting them know about all the kind of support that is out there because there's loads. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you, Amy. It's been absolutely fabulous to talk to you today. And I just want to wish you every bit of luck with the work with MS Together. And as you very succinctly put, there are lots of other MS charities, and one of the things that I think as healthcare professionals we find really encouraging is how much the MS organisations are working together. I know that you have with both the awareness days and with World MS Day.
Yeah,
So, I would absolutely reiterate what you said, that there is lots of different kinds of support available from all of the different MS charities.
yeah,
So on that note, I just want to say a really big thank you and happy World MS Day 2024.
yeah. Happy World MS Day. Thanks, Ruth.